And yeah, there we go. Anyways, nope, not my overlay. This is what I want. How's everyone doing today? I don't think anyone's here quite yet, which is to be expected. All right, let me just fix this filter. I am going to, what's it called? Fix the perspective on this, and then hopefully finish this painting today. I finished the other one that I was working on, the VTuber painting. I finished that one finally, and I can show it off later to anyone who wants to see it. And then I will, obviously I'll be posting it and turning it into a video at some point. Hopefully sooner than later. I've been slacking on the videos a little bit lately, so I need to get back into it. Alrighty. Uh, huh. Why is it telling me my bit rate is low for my audio? Should be all good. Um, yeah, no, it should be fine. Oh well. Alrighty. Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing today? Uh, I'm hoping that the coffee works because I am tired today. Alrighty. Streaming, I need to make a checklist because there's always so many things to kind of keep track of, and it can be difficult sometimes. Checklist might be a good thing, but we'll see. We'll see. It keeps the checklist will have to keep changing too, so I don't know about that. All right. Here we go. Got the palette out. I wish the lighting controls in OBS were closer to Photoshop in the ability to just like lift the lights, or lift the darks and not touch the lights as much and so on. Um, just, more nuanced control, I guess. There's probably a plugin that can kind of do that. I have one that kind of does that, but it's not easy to use. So it's, even though it can like functionally pull that off, it's not very easy to. It's not like a simple slider type of thing. It's a lot more complicated. Just getting my brushes out. I have some brushes I really need to clean. But I guess that will be another day. Alrighty. So it'll be interesting coming back to this painting. I always find it interesting coming back to paintings that I haven't touched for a while. Um, it is difficult to come back to paintings I haven't touched in a very long time. There's a few paintings I have like that, and I'm not sure if I'll ever finish them because they've just sat there for so long. I don't know. I don't know if I can come back to them. But I want to. I just don't know if I can. But this one hasn't been that long, so I can definitely get back to this one and just see, you know. Um, but it's still interesting to come back to a painting that I haven't touched in a while. Your whole perspective on it changes, and that can really affect, you know, how you proceed in both positive and negative ways. It's not solely one or the other. Let's see here. Just gonna clean my palette a little bit. Oh, all right. Just making sure everything's okay with the computer. All right, I'm just gonna scrape my palette real quick because having a semi-messy palette like this, I just find distracting. especially since these colors aren't the colors from this painting. Granted, I'm using pretty much the same palette all the time, so it doesn't matter that much. But this painting is so, what's the word I'm looking for? Like stylized color-wise that it makes a little more difference this time. I also need to get my halo green out. Um, no, no, what? Did I put it somewhere else? That's bizarre. Did I move it somewhere so that it would be easier to find? And now I can't find it. Okay, there it is. I found it. Oh, started getting worried for a second. Not like that, someone stole it or that I lost it, more that like I wouldn't be able to find it in a timely manner. I doubt I'll need a lot, but just in case, I'm gonna put some out. There we go. My back is not happy today for whatever reason. All right, let's see. So I have some. All right, let's see what needs to be done here. So I'm just gonna kind of do a evaluation real quick, kind of try and figure out what's where and what needs to be, adjusted. So there's some stuff in his face that needs a little bit of work. I need to bring some of the values up and some of it back. I need to adjust his mouth a little. That needs some work. And then there are some other spots that need a little like cleaning up a little bit on the background. They either need cleaning up or messing up, but right now it's a little too much on the in-between. So, the in-between isn't good. You want it one way or another. Um, his nose ring chain definitely needs some work, which is to be expected. That was very fine detail and it's kind of saved for the very end, because of how, detailed that is. Same thing a little bit with his choker. And then some of these are a little too wobbly. They need to be a little, I don't want to say cleaner. I guess, yeah, cleaner. Um, More defined, or yeah. Maybe touch this up a little bit. It's not really that important. You know, it falls under the category of close enough. This part, maybe? I could see that. Yeah, and then the eyes are going to be um, kind of the final touches. Hmm. Okay, I see the inner eyebrows need some adjustment. I think that's good. And this shadow area here needs a little work. Oh, I think what's happening there is, oh, no, I guess it's a shadow area. Okay, cool. A lot of it's very like minimal, so shouldn't be too bad. Get some coffee. Alrighty. Oh, thank you very much. Lovey Studio. Welcome. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Lovey Studio says, love your work and your brush works. I appreciate that. How are you doing today? And I'm assuming, based off of your name and everything, that you're an artist as well. What type of artwork do you like doing, or do you focus on? That's not good. All right. So, um, the oil is beating up. I'm oiling out right now, and it's beating up on this, which I could probably get around with, that's what I'm looking for. I'll know it in a second. Uh, a gel, but that means that it's way too sealed. So I will, the paint film is just too smooth and too sealed. So um, I will put some Gamsol on it. This is a completely dry painting at this point. I will use Gamsol to help with that. I don't use a lot of solvents, generally speaking, but you know, sometimes they're very useful, and a little bit is not the worst thing in the world. So right now I'm just putting straight Gamsol I could, the other option I have is I could just lightly sand it, but I don't like doing that either. So I'm just going to use a little bit of Gamsol to kind of hopefully lightly damage the um, the paint film a little to make it a little more open. Let's see. Love Studio says, of course, I'm just looking for oil painters on here. I just thought about live streaming my work and I was wondering if others did the same. And I found your channel. I'm an oil painter too. I like fantasy surrealist stuff. Keep up the good work. I love watching people painting figurative work or portraits. Yeah, and then asked when do I use solvents. So first of all, awesome, and yeah, by all means, please join and stream as well. I think it's a great thing. I just realized I forgot to change my my stream title for on Twitch. I stream both on Twitch and on YouTube. Um, so I'm multi-streaming right now. So I do both. You know, each has their advantages and disadvantages, of course. And for my oil paint, I don't do a lot of fantasy stuff. I did just recently do a VTuber. I tried to paint the VTuber as more of a realistic painting. So it's a fantasy, you know, kind of fantasy character. And I tried to paint them more realistic looking. Um, that was the goal. So that was a recent painting I did. Um, but yeah, generally I do portraits and figurative. That's definitely the focus. And when do I use solvents? I don't use incredible use of color. Thank you, I appreciate that. I don't use solvents much at all. I almost I use solvents a little to clean my brushes. Sometimes. No, not sometimes. Most of the time I use a little bit of solvent to clean my brushes at the beginning and end of my painting. Not during, just at the very end or very beginning. Like I take my brushes, I keep them in an oil bath, basically, so I don't have to wash them. So before I put them in and when I take them out, I clean my brushes in some Gamsol, and then that's it. I usually don't use any solvent otherwise. Except for, you know, sometimes when I'm varnishing, you need it, or in this case, my oiling out was starting to bead up on it, which is not a good sign. That's the problem that I sometimes run into when I do when I varnish too. So adding Gamsol does solve that problem sometimes. That's why, you know. The other thing I started using recently, I picked some of this up, is the Miracle Medium from Michael Harding. It's supposedly um, solvent-free, plant-based, odorless, non-flammable. He claims you could drink it, although he doesn't recommend it. But I started using that and I like it. I don't use it for everything. I only have a small bottle. I need to buy more. But I bought that at a convention and they only now started selling it online. Up until now it wasn't available. So now I can get more, I can use it more, you know. And before all I had was that little bottle and that was it. I didn't know when I'd be able to get more. um, but yeah, but that's about it. Yeah. Same, LOL, my brushes always die if I don't do that. Yeah, yeah. I don't think the brand is available where I live. I'll try ordering it. Do you mind if I ask where you live? Just general. You don't have to tell me. And if you don't feel comfortable, don't say anything. But I'm just curious. But I'm in Austin, Texas, and like I said, it wasn't available until now. But now it finally is. What But what do you think about pure linseed oil? Linseed oil is fine. I generally prefer walnut oil. Um, it's not a huge difference. Um, Also, it depends on the paint that you're starting with because walnut oil is thinner. So if you already have thin paint, then, it might not be, um, walnut oil might be too thin and not be good. So it kind of depends. But, it's not a big difference. Linseed oil, walnut oil, it's not a huge difference. It's a minor difference that I have a slight preference for. Oh, of course, you live in Qatar, Doha at the moment, probably moving later this year. Nice. I don't think I've used walnut oil, but it sounds interesting. It really is just like linseed oil. I have some here. It really is like linseed oil. It's just a little more liquidy, like a little more, yeah, it's just a little thinner in feeling and a little, more liquidy and slicker. It is slicker. So, not a big difference though, really. Don't, it, it's not something worth, like, I wouldn't pay, a lot more to use walnut oil over linseed oil. You know what I mean? Like, sure, I'd pay $1 more, but I wouldn't pay, $5 more. I don't know. It's not a huge difference. There we go. Now it's not beating up on it. Nice. So I can't see when I'm oiling out because at, at the angle that I'm standing, I can't see the reflection of the oiling out. So I have to get to an angle where I can actually see the reflection of the wet oil. Otherwise, I don't know when I've covered the parts I need covered or not. Which I always consider a testament to the fact that I position my lights very well, but still, it can be annoying. Alrighty. But yeah, the Miracle Medium stuff from Michael Harding is new, and it's probably not available everywhere. Like I said, it wasn't available here for a long time. Like I'd seen videos about it, um, and it still wasn't available. So it took a long time to get here. Alrighty. Um, but yeah. And yeah, I totally think you should stream if you're getting into uh if you're interested in it. There used to be, well, actually I should rephrase it. I was going to say there used to be more streamers who streamed traditional, but that's not true. I just knew more of them. When I first started streaming on Twitch, I I kind of got into the Twitch community, the like artist community. And then I took a long hiatus, and a bunch of other people stopped streaming as well. And then when I went back to it, a lot of them had already left. So now I don't know a lot of the people who stream, but there's still people here who stream, for sure. This painting is if the color palette is very much a not realistic color palette. The idea was it was going to be a green and rose color palette. That was it, and white. But then I started it on the 4th of July. Um, and I was like, well, I guess I'll make the flag, you know, red, white, and blue. And then so now it's a green and rose color palette with red, white, and blue added. It's even more interesting this way. Yeah, I definitely think so. That's the reason I did it. But I did this painting a couple of years ago. Wait, a couple of years? I don't remember, a year ago or something. That was just those three colors. And those three colors have an interesting interaction that the rose and the green, if you get the right ones, they mix to a chromatic black. So with just three pigments, you know, the rose, the quinacridone rose, phthalo green, yellow shade, and white, you also can mix black. So you get black, white, and the variations of between those two colors. And it makes for a really nice color palette. And I did a portrait with that and I really liked it. So I wanted to do more. But like I said, then it was 4th of July, so I figured, make it, you know, add that to it. But yeah, I like the palette. Generally I use a CMYK palette or a modified CMYK palette. But yeah, that's my go-to palette is basically a CMYK palette. I've gone through a lot of palettes, like different, you know, variations of palettes. And I don't think that, you know, like I'm not saying that this will be my palette forever because I don't think that it's worth having that mindset. Like it's nice to experiment. It's nice to try different things and see what works for you and be open to new stuff. So I don't feel like you have to, you know, have one or the other all the time. But I will say the CMYK palette is very versatile. That is a huge advantage to it. And I think it's also relatively economical. There's only one pigment that's really expensive on it. And you can probably substitute for a cheaper one. It's the yellow, by the way. The yellow is the most expensive pigment on my normal palette. But like I said, I'm pretty sure you could substitute for a cheaper yellow if, you know, if you had to. Not that cost is the, you know, number one driving force all the time. So one of the things I use, I take a photo of my painting and then I superimpose the reference on top of that so that I can check my sizes and everything. That's kind of my go-to for that. Um, Kind of like using the grid method or something else like that. Just I find it quicker, especially when I'm streaming and I have to, you know, deal with a lot of stuff. Uh, Lovey Studios says, haha, yes, don't limit yourself. I used to keep myself to a palette to have style. and be more recognized in that certain palette, but I think it's too limiting. For sure. I mean, I do think there's an advantage to using a palette for a long time and really getting to know the nuances of it, and all of that. But definitely don't limit yourself to a single palette or palette type, just to limit yourself kind of thing. I don't think that I don't think that's beneficial. Um, hey Des, sorry you're late. Had to you don't have to apologize for coming in late, but I appreciate you being here. Welcome. Lovely Studios, Des is also a painter, by the way, both digital and oil painter. Um, yeah. By the way, Lovely Studios, if you want, you can share your Instagram or something, as long as it's relatively speaking, you know, TOS friendly. Uh, so as long as there's not a ton of violence or nudity on it, you can share it here if you have an Instagram, in the chat. Also, we have a Discord too, if that's something you're interested in. Um, it's a it's not the most active Discord in the world, but it is a great community, and people do respond. They're just not posting a ton otherwise. All right, I need more paint. Sometimes it's hard to realize that you don't have enough, literally just don't have enough paint. Um, Especially when the colors are so strong. Uh, oh, wait, Des says I have earbuds on. Now I can hear the stream. Oh, welcome. Welcome, Des. And then, Love Studio says, I haven't made a public account for my art yet. I'm graduated from uni in painting and printmaking. And I've been showing works IRL, so I just now getting into promoting my work online. Nice. Des says watermark it all. If you can, um, I would glaze. I would run it all through Glaze, and I would run it through Nightshade. But check first because Nightshade and Glaze can sometimes mess up how your art looks a little bit. Sometimes it's noticeable, sometimes it's really not noticeable. Get a second opinion though, because I could always see it on my stuff, but other people sometimes couldn't see it at all. Um, however, um, I don't do that at all the time, unfortunately. I should, but I don't. I just don't have uh, the computing power to do that all the time, unfortunately. Interesting. I didn't know you could watermark it online. Yeah, I mean, well, you have to do it before you upload it, but yes, you can watermark your stuff. I don't care as much about watermarking personally, for a few reasons. Uh, one is I have watermarked my stuff in the past, and I've had people steal it anyways. Don't get me wrong, like it's better to do it, you know? It's just um there's best practices and then there's what you have the time and energy to do. You know what I mean? That's always the issue. Hey Ike, welcome. How you doing? Uh yep, they take it anyways. Yeah, they can get around watermarks pretty good at it now. But I mean, let me put it this way: it's better to do it. Like, why make it easy for them? However, you know, like I said, there's just sometimes you just don't have the time or the energy to do it all, you know? But I do think it's better than not. Ike says, I'm okay. Hope you are well. I'm doing all right. A little tired today, but nothing crazy. Uh, I finished the what's it called? The VTuber painting. That one's drying. Well, I should rephrase that. I finished it, although now that I look at it, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to go in and put in like two last touches on it. But I finished it basically. So now I'm trying to do the same here and knock this one out today. Uh, Love Studio says, yeah, I can see that happening. Instagram, never thought about it much because I always worked IRL selling shows, etc. So I didn't care. I physically signed my canvases on the back. Yeah, for sure. Oh, that says, had a guy thank me for giving him a new screensaver on his phone. He just took my photo and used it. Yeah, I've had people do that. I've done conventions. I used to do comic book conventions, um, and I've had people take photos of my prints or my paintings right in front of me. And they're like, oh, this is so good. Let me take a photo of it. And it's like, okay, great. And so it's like, all right, I guess now you have it and you don't need to buy my print, I guess. Thanks. What can I do? Some people try and say no photos, but it's it can get very awkward very fast. Lovely Studio says zero respect. Yeah. I think the thing too, though, it's tough because like I have done something similar to other artists. However, I would like to, you know, I'd like to add the caveat that it was never so that I could use their art as a screensaver or like, oh, instead of buying this, I'll just take a photo of it. It's more, for me personally, it was always like, I want to remember who this person is. So I take a photo, usually of their business card and some of their art or something so that I have a frame of reference kind of thing. But, you know, it's a very, very different intention and a use case, put it that way. But yeah, people, whatever. I just like if they're not going to buy, they're just not going to buy, right? Like, so, oh well. That says, Love Studio, someone took my original oil paintings, removed the watermark and signature somehow, and then put it through AI along with other works and displayed them on a fan group Facebook. I had to say it was my work and credit was needed. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, I had one of my digital illustrations. I had someone remove they removed my signature and then were selling magnets on eBay with my artwork on it, just without my signature. And of course, no credit, obviously. So, thieves are out there. There's no getting around it. And now they have the magic thieving apps, that just let them thieve without even having to take it directly sometimes. So, but whatever. That stuff is short term only. That stuff doesn't last as a business model. This says just be careful. Yeah. But also just the thing too to recognize is that the people who are going to do a lot of that stuff, like I'm not talking about the people who buy from thieves not knowing. I'm talking about the thieves themselves or the people who are like, let me take a photo of your painting and then not, so that I don't have to pay you and I can just use it. These aren't going to be your customers. They're not going to be your clients. They're not going to be your patrons. So it's just not worth getting um, too upset about it. They were never going to be the people who invest their money in you. So, Lovey Studio says, I agree. Yeah. It's tough. I get it. I'm not trying to, I'm just trying to say like, keep that in mind when it does happen. So to anyone, that you didn't really lose anything. Those aren't the people who are going to, they were never going to value your work, your effort, or anything. Have you been working on any videos, Ike? I know I've been very slow putting out videos lately. I need to really ramp up again. I've just been a bit busy. So, oh, this is something I recently, local painter. I've been in touch with a local painter here, and she's been ordering some frames from me. So I made some custom floating frames for her, and now she wants a few more and some panels and stuff like that. So I've been, doing that. Uh, that's been taking up some of my time, which is a good thing. You haven't posted any videos lately. You've been on a YouTube break. I feel that. I've I, I've been trying to stay consistent with it, but it's been very hard to find the time for it. Um, you know, so it, it it's very time consuming. It's very difficult in general, but I also think I am not very good at how can I phrase this? I'm not very good at like pacing myself. I either go, you know, very, very hard and all put all my time and effort into something, or, or I don't. And it's very hard for me to do like slow, steady type of thing. Um, yeah. Or I guess it's hard at slow, steady at the kind of pace I want, maybe would be more accurate. Love Lovey Studio. Out of curiosity, what brand of oil paint do you like using? I'm just curious what is common in your part of the world that's, decent. Because I talked to, I forget who it was I was talking to. I was talking to someone and I was talking about a brand of oil paint that is really expensive here. I think it was, oh my God, I can't remember the brand. It's a European brand. I can't remember, but they're from Europe, and so for them it's actually cheaper than like the cheaper brands here. Um, I thought that was kind of funny. Like some people would die to have that brand be cheaper. But yeah, you use Winsor Newton the most probably. There's Van Gogh and Rosa as well. Rosa is the most affordable. and they have more variety. Okay. You love Rembrandt and also Old Holland though, but they're so expensive. I think it might have actually been Old Holland that someone was like, "Oh yeah, where I live it's actually cheaper than like Windsor Newton and Gamblin." And I was just like, "Are you kidding me?" I've never used Old Holland. I honestly don't think I'd like it. Apparently it's very stiff, and I don't like stiff paint. So there's a chance I wouldn't even appreciate it. But I haven't tried it. You should have bought them when you were in the Netherlands. Yeah. And now you know next time, you know? You understand, but they have such rare colors, do they? I know that they had a rare color, but they don't make that anymore. They were the only one who had genuine manganese blue for a while, but they don't anymore. Um, so I'm not aware of any colors that they have that are actually rare. They have some very pigmented and saturated colors, but they cost a kidney, lol. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about their paint, except for maybe the only negative I've actually heard is that they're stiff, you know. But yeah, they're known for being like extremely pigmented and all of that for sure. However, I will say the one thing that I've kind of, I want to say come to the conclusion, but one thing I've noticed is that at a certain level, like of paints, there stops being a huge difference um, between the like pigmentation and the colors that they can get, at least that I've experienced. Like I'm sure maybe there's something, above what I've experienced that I can't afford, so I don't know. I mean, not that I can afford uh, you know, Old Holland, but you know, like I use Winsor Newton, and some of their paints, some are not my favorite, some are fine. I mean, they're all fine, just some are not my favorites. I'd rather get it from a different brand, but it's usually a difference of consistency or a difference of like the tonal variation on the same name color. It's rarely like, oh my God, this one is just so much more pigmented than the others, you know? Um, but like I said, I haven't used Old Holland. Maybe it would blow my mind if I did. But yeah, I a few years ago I won. There's an art store here called Jerry's Artorama, um, and I won their self-portrait. What's it called? It was a self-portrait competition, and I won that. And they gave what's it called? A gift card for their uh, as the winning, right? Uh, Let me see. This says, "Fuck yeah, congratulations, thank you." And also before that says, "Yes, true. At the end of the day, literally just use basics. It's quite hard for me to branch out." Yeah. Ooh, I need to give my camera a minute to cool down. Okay. Uh, so I'm recording, and if I record too long, uh, straight, my camera overheats, and then that we lose all video. So I have to force myself to take breaks, which is a good thing. Yeah, so I won the competition. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. It was a few years back, and I got a gift card for, the store as a prize money. And I was like, oh hell yeah, I just won. I'm going to treat myself to some premium paints. And I go and at the time I was using CAD Yellow Lemon for my yellow. Now I'm using Bismuth, but um, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go buy, a big tube of CAD lemon, and I'm going to go buy like Old Holland or something because I'm going to get premium, you know, premium paint, right? So I go and I look up the price and I'm just like, I am going to treat myself with a regular old large tube of paint from a different brand. It was like 4 times the price. I was just like, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. No way. Uh, I have stretched out that prize money so much. I've literally stretched it out over years by being very frugal and very, precise with what I buy. Yeah, no, I could not bring myself to do it. It literally was, I think, like $200 for one tube of paint, and I was just like, I can't do that. Nope. 200 is crazy. Yeah, I just couldn't do it. It was something crazy like that, and I was just like, it was literally 4 times the price of other tubes at the time. I'm sure maybe the prices have fluctuated. I don't know, but yeah, I was just like, I can't do that. So I went back. I mostly use, um, I like M-Gram a lot because they use walnut oil and it's a softer paint generally. But I also buy Winsor Newton and Gamblin, and there's a local brand um, that's new called Tuscan Pine, and I've tried a few of them out. They've been good too. Uh, you know, I can't. And I have a couple of what's that other brand? Um, I have some tubes of Williamsburg as well. Um, a couple of, but they're a little pricier too, so I don't usually buy. I do, I got this sample. See this little sample tube? I got this little sample tube from Williamsburg of genuine, not hue, but genuine cerulean blue. So I'm thinking of doing like a small painting with like just cerulean or something like that, just to try out like genuine paint. You don't think you've heard of that brand? Yeah, Williamsburg is it's an American brand, I'm pretty sure, and they were bought out by Golden uh, Paints, if I'm not mistaken. So they were always a brand of Golden Paint, but it is Golden Paints. So it's a yeah, golden acrylics, the them. So um, so yeah. Yeah, and Tuscan Pine is a brand that basically Jerry's Artorama, they made it, so it's their house brand. So also a like local brand kind of thing. It's all the same. It doesn't make that much of a difference. The only thing that makes a huge difference. Okay, no, there's a few things. The only things that really make a huge difference to me is that they'll all have a color that they call, whatever, um, quinacridone rose or permanent rose. And that one color varies so much from each brand, and it's infuriating. It's with every it's with most colors that it varies, but it's infuriating. That and obviously the consistency. But then there's stuff like Michael Harding has a color that is uh, what opera rose, and it uses a light fast pigment, but it has a dye added to it to make it more saturated. But because of that, it is not a light fast color. It will fade over time because that the only way to get that like extreme neon pink is with this dye, and the dye will not last, the test of time kind of thing. It's very frustrating. Des says one of the art streamers on Twitch makes his own paints. That seems like an excessive amount of work. Yes. And Lovey Studio says, yes, pinks are difficult. Yep. Um, he also says that's a work of art in itself. Making pigments is so hard. Well, so I think she means he makes paints. So he buys the pigments as a powder and then mixes it to make paint, which is a little less work. Still work, but a little less. If that's what he does. I don't know. I haven't seen them. I just know that that's usually like what people do. It still work, don't get me wrong. It's just a little less. It's a good way. I don't know if that's a very economical way of doing things. I definitely know that some pigments are so toxic, it is absolutely not worth it. You don't want that dust in the air, you know? You don't want to breathe that crap. But yeah, I actually I used to have a viewer who would hang out and chat, and they were if I remember correctly, they were Brazilian, and they painted with homemade gouache paints because he couldn't buy paints where he was. Um, it wasn't an option, so he would paint with homemade gouache paints that he made, which is just a crazy commitment level. Very impressive to me, without a doubt. Very, very impressive. Um, Lovey says, yeah, I'm too lazy and unprecise to do that. That's why I never got good at printmaking. Haha. Yeah, yeah, for sure. That's really cool. Genuine love and passion for art for the sake of it is everything. Yeah, I agree. I think it's awesome. And I do wonder, like, if I was in that circumstance, would I do that? I don't know. It's tough. It's really tough. I think it's definitely admirable, for sure, for sure. All righty. All right, I'm getting into the face now, and it's such a, it's so, um, like the changes that I need to make are so small. I have to be very careful with it all. But yeah, I could not feel very fortunate every time I talked to this one artist who was telling me about their experience living in Brazil. And this isn't a thing, criticism of the country. I don't know what it's like to live in Brazil, but as an artist in Brazil, the it's just crazy. It just sounded so, so challenging, and their commitment to pursuing art and to painting traditionally, not even, not even doing digital. They just was very inspiring. That's why I say, like, I think I'm so boring sometimes because I don't, I don't have any stories like that, right? It's like, oh yeah, I wanted to try out a new a new paint, so I went to the store and bought it, and then I tried it out. You know, not the most interesting thing in the world. That's why I think more people also should share their experiences and their stories, because to other people, like, to them it might be, whatever they do might be nothing or very common or whatever, but people from other places, it's a whole other story for them, and it can be very, if nothing else, interesting, you know, if not inspiring and other stuff. The edge was a little too crispy because um, the paint wasn't as giving as I needed it to be, so it like got like these little hard edges. I'm gonna go in and soften them up a little bit as I lighten it, but yeah. Oh, geez. All right. Lovely CD says, "Oops, sorry for the essay." Yeah. All right. Persistence is difficult. Difficulties for social issues, not economical, because my community is very aggressive and conservative, and growing up was always harassed by my teachers, for religious fundamentalist school, for drawing figurative work, and people because, oh, couldn't draw a living being. Okay, sounds insane, but that's what I had to face. Oh, well, teachers throwing my sketchbooks in the bin. Oh, wow. Yeah, no, there you go. See, it's totally different. Um, you know, absolutely. That's crazy to me. But I grew up doing figure drawings and figure studies, um, at a pretty young age, for most people. So I got really comfortable with all of that stuff, early on. But that also had the oh, wait, my Twitch stream froze? Is it frozen for everybody? Uh, is it frozen? Oh, YouTube did too. Uh, I don't look like I'm buffering on my side of things. Hold on, my streams both, I think, are frozen. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can deal with that. You refreshed and it's still frozen. Um, YouTube is okay. All right. Let's see. It says that it's excellent and that everything is working on my end. And my internet is working, no problem. I think there was a good now. Oh, okay. I think it was a hiccup in my I think it was just a hiccup in my internet connection and that passed. That's my assumption because it seems to have solved itself. So, sorry about that, everyone. Yeah. Dresden. Dresden. Ah, that little boy. Hey. Yeah, I think we lost Lovey Studios. All right. Sorry about that, everyone. I don't know what happened. Like I said, I think it just bugged out on me for a minute. Um, I'm gonna take a break, not going anywhere. I'm still on stream. I'm just gonna grab Dresden because he wants attention and is running away from me. So let me go grab him. Oh, my baby boy. Oh, look at you. Look at you, little boy. Oh, you're so cute. You're so cute. Mm-hmm. Are you looking away from the camera? Everyone wants to see your pretty face. Look at that face. I'm just waiting a little bit to make sure that my internet connection doesn't keep wigging out, you know? Thank you, little boy. Oh, he's so cute. I wish he would just stay like this. I could paint with him here. You know, I just you can go. All right. Yeah, stream says excellent. Still, everything looks like it's still okay. I do think we lost some people along the way, unfortunately. I don't know what happened there. I can double check one more time just to make sure. Um, but yeah, everything looks like it's working. Alrighty. It's unfortunate that we lost some people. I didn't even get a notification or anything. Like it must have been that, like, it, like it might have not been on my end of things in the sense of like it could have been my internet provider, not my OBS or whatever. I don't know. Like I don't have any, it's not showing any dropped frames or anything. So I don't know what happened. It's just weird because it was only Twitch and I have other things up and your YouTube stream was fine. You think it was Twitch? I don't know. When I went over to YouTube, it was showing an issue for a minute too. But that's the weird part, right? Because there's the OBS screen and then there's the like YouTube streamer, YouTube studio streamer screen. And OBS didn't show anything, but the YouTube one did. But yeah, I don't know. Oh well. Unfortunately, there's only so much I can do. So some of it's definitely not in my hands as far as like control. So, all right, let me try and figure out where I was because I kind of lost my spot here. Okay, I remember now. I'm pretty happy they're finally selling Miracle Medium at like in Jerry's Artorama or other places online, basically. So now you can finally purchase it. I'm pretty happy about that. That was way too light. I have to fix that now. This part is so delicate. This is one of the few times I actually am tempted to grab a second brush so that I can do some things. Actually, I think I will. So usually I only use brushes based off of size, right? Like I don't have like a light brush and a dark brush and a, warm and a cool. I don't do that usually. However, in this case, I'm trying to go between like my light color and my dark color, and they are so opposite and so strong and like they what's it called? They're so staining, especially like the phthalo, phthalo green. Um, and to go from phthalo green, which is what I need to do right now, is to put in some shadow, right? And it's like to go from phthalo green back to quinacridone rose, where it's also mixed with white, is just, it's, I, I waste so much paint in some of these transitions. It's usually not an issue, but with these two paints, it is so strong and so overpowering that I'm actually grabbing another brush so that I can go in and do that here. And it's a very minor thing that I need to do. Oh, oh. Okay, this whole part of his mouth needs work. Damn. This says, I went with my sister to the dome today. She reminded me that your artist bio. Oh, she reminded me to get your artist bio. I think they'll be using them in the advertisement. Oh, shoot. Yeah. Um, okay. Uh, what do just message me on Discord or something and just let me know what format kind of you're looking for, how much, kind of thing you're looking for. And um, I'll write it up. Doesn't have to be complex. I'll send you an example of ours if I can find them. Might be changing mine too. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, yeah, I just want to have like a general, kind of idea so that I'm within the ballpark. I don't want to come out with send it to you and it be like completely, you know, um, I don't know, not in line with everything. It is very challenging writing artist statements. I will say that I've always had a hard time with it. I've gotten better at it over the years, but it is challenging. trying to get that contrast in now to like really sculpt his form a little more. I probably should have done some of this earlier, but I don't know what I was thinking at the time. And like I said, that's the interesting thing about going back to paintings that you haven't worked on them in a while. Sometimes you see things completely differently and you're like, why wasn't I doing this? And I don't know. But I have the opportunity now, so I'm doing that. I'm trying to use my larger brush whenever I can, but I am getting to areas where it's just very challenging to keep using a larger brush for some of it. In case anyone is curious, why would it matter? Um, if you're not familiar, the idea is that generally speaking, it is better to use, this is a generalization, um, the largest brush that you can to do the painting, because it prevents you from getting lost in the details, and it also helps with unifying things, and keeping the structures of the objects that you're painting, if that's an issue. Welcome back, Des. However, that is just a like guiding principle. It's not a hard rule. You don't have to use. Some people don't like using big brushes and they only use small brushes. But it's just a generalization, like it's useful. It's one of those things that doesn't seem like it would actually make a difference, but it really does. Hey, Michelle, welcome. You brought a viewer? Leah is watching, I think. Okay. Whoa. Hey, Leah, welcome. How have you been? Hope you're doing well. I know not everyone likes to actually participate in chat, so no pressure. So the little dots here, those will be he has like a design thing on his face, but I can't quite, I don't want to paint it in just yet because he has, and there's more stuff I need to do first, and I don't want it to get in the way. So I just kind of, you know, put a couple dots there. Let me know where it goes. And then I will hopefully remember to put it in. Hey, hey Leo, welcome. Good to see you. It's been a while. Hope you've been doing well. Sorry if you had to sit through all the commercials. The YouTube one generally has less commercials. I forgot to run, I have the option of running ads, like if I run like 3-minute ads, then the pre-rolls get turned off, but I forgot to do that today. Oh, I was going to dignify this with a response, but it's just spam. Someone Des banned them. Thank you, Des. Appreciate it. Okay, you reported them too? Nice. Thank you. Which just cracked down on bot viewers too. I don't know why they would even bother trying. It says ban evasion. Oh, it was restricted. It was already restricted for suspicious activities. The viewers couldn't see it. Yeah, I don't get it. Whatever. I don't understand I just don't understand where like the marketing strategy that just doesn't, I don't, they must make money somehow, otherwise why continue to do it? But I don't see it. The mute button wouldn't mute. I almost couldn't hold it in long enough. Ah, allergies. Des says, I've known people who bought viewers so they do make money. That's crazy. I mean, don't get me wrong, I know people buy viewers, but I also think it's crazy to just buy viewers from a random chatter who like comes into a stream. You know, that's the other part of it that I don't get. But yeah. I mean, people have been losing viewers now because of all these the bot crackdowns that they've been doing on Twitch recently. So obviously people have been view botting, but I think the thing too to me is that I'm like, who would buy it from some random, random account coming in being like, hey, want to buy viewers? Like, okay, I guess. But then again, I have to remember that what do I know, right? Like I don't know how to be like a super mega successful streamer. Like maybe that's the way to do it. I don't know. I know that there is this account that supposedly has been view botting for years that was getting like 2,000 viewers a day on essentially reruns. And so they were getting the ad revenue of that. Um, and now they went down to like 190 viewers or something like that. And like I don't know what the ad revenue on 2,000 viewers is for, you know, but I'm sure it's not pocket change, at least not after you add up, the hours kind of thing. So that's why some people do rerun streams. I wonder, that explains it. Yeah, 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 for sure. They do it for ad revenue. If you're big enough, it's worth it. I actually got caught in a rerun stream the other day. One of an artist that I follow, I guess they're out of town and they were doing a rerun stream, and when I first came in I didn't know, and they said something, and I typed in chat as if it was a live stream, and then I saw that they have they have a banner saying it's a rerun stream. But like I said, when I first came in I didn't see it in time, and I just was responding real quick to what they said. It's like, oh, okay, well, whatever. I don't get it. It's weird because like a rerun stream feels different to me than like a YouTube video VOD, the YouTube VOD of a live stream, right? Like it just feels different to me for some reason. I think it's because like the YouTube VOD is clearly a video, like it's just the video on demand kind of thing of the stream. But the rerun is, even though it says it's a rerun, it still plays as if it's a live stream. I think that's what makes it weird to me. I don't know if you can even like fast forward in a rerun stream. I'm assuming you can't, but I never tried it. No, because it's a live stream of the rerun. That's what I thought. So yeah, that's why it's different and it's weird to me. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a big VOD viewer anyways, but a rerun stream is even more or even less appealing to me. The chat is current people in there watching, not the original chat from the original stream, unless there are two chats. Yeah, okay. I mean, that makes sense. It's just definitely not for me. But, I guess if you want to make that money and people want to watch it, it's not like they're being forced to, so whatever. Once again, it falls into the category of it's just not for me. And that's fine, you know. Uh, I've I've realized a lot of things just are not for me, you know? It's fine. And that's a good thing, right? Because if I was the target audience for everything, things would be boring. His nose is giving me such a hard time constantly. And it's not so much the shape of his nose, it's because of the dual color tone that I'm doing. It's actually making it much harder for me to paint his nose. So, because trying to get the transition in a way that looks right is just hard. But I'll get it eventually. We're getting there. We're getting closer. But yeah, the dual tone thing is, I love it, but and it is sometimes literally feels like a cheat for certain areas, but then you run into these other areas where it's just like it does not want to cooperate, or it makes it, more difficult to do. like everything, it's got its ups and its downs for sure. There we go. Oof. All right, gotta give my camera a break, and I think I need to give my back a break too, honestly. Might have to end stream. I can, oh, I can feel my back just not happy right now. Yeah, we're already at the 2 hour mark. I like to go longer, but I think I'm gonna call it a day. I just, I wasn't, yesterday I was not feeling well. Just had a weird, like, felt really ill last night and I didn't sleep well because of it. So I didn't even think about that until I started feeling like I just hit my limit right now with the stream. Uh, yeah, I think I'm going to call it a day. I was going to try and push through, but I think giving myself a break might be a better idea right now. So, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you. Appreciate all the new viewers. Thanks for hanging out. If you want to talk art and stuff, join the Discord, and hopefully new videos are coming out this week as well. And yeah, I think that's it. A bit of a slow Sunday, but a good Sunday. I think it was a lot of fun and really got some progress done, and the chat was a lot of fun too. So this says, have a good night. I'll message you tomorrow. Yes, you have to call some printing companies. Okay, sounds good. Um, have a good night. Have a good rest of your weekend, everybody, and I'll be back on Wednesday. Bye.